Greetings and welcome to Aquarian Anarchy. Samuel Konkin III says, remember, the enemy we are fighting is 10,000 years old. It lurks somewhere inside nearly every person on Earth. It controls half the wealth and all the weapons of mass murder. It speaks over all the airwaves and nearly all the presses. It is evil. It is huge. It is the state. Can a ragtag band of rebels such as we hope to prevail against such an overwhelming terror? Yes, for the state is massive yet fragile. For it is built on a foundation of lies. These lies are only now being consistently exposed. Help wield the sword of truth and the shield of valor. Renew your dedication to freedom, anarchy, and the agora. Happy New Year, everybody. How y'all doing in 2022?
I'm alive.
I had better days.
Yeah, me too, me too, bro. Oh, shit.
We got 2 Transformers online, so you know.
That's right. As we talked before, I choose Bumblebee. I will be Bumblebee.
So Nicco had the Amarion. Marcus is the Bumblebee. I'm the Wiz Khalifa.
Wait. I would prefer. Why would I have to be Amarion? It's because I'm black.
I don't know.
It's just because I'm black. It's because
we're just naming him out. No, it's just because. So I'm not the one who came up with calling it the Amarion. That was like Hotep Jesus and some other people in the community, and so I just went with it. And so since you had it first,
if we go, okay, all right. Since I got it first,
you had it first. You have to have that one. And then Marcus chose Bumblebee because he's in Transformer land, and I'm thinking I'm going back to rapper, and I'm going to be Wiz Khalifa, black and yellow. All right, so that's my variant.
Right on.
How's everybody doing? Besides feeling like dog shit.
Other than that, I'm good.
Other than that, you're good. Yeah, me too.
Look, I got a full plate. I had some Haitian soup jamu. And we had some cremas.
He got the Haitian New Year's thing. We talked about that.
This is my cousin. I'm smacking on some Jamaican food right now. So like,
all right.
I had to share some love with them. But trust and believe. I'm going back downstairs and I'm gonna warm me up a bowl of soup jamu because it gets better on the second day. The third day is great, man.
I hear that. Dude, that's like my dad's gumbo's like that, and I got it. That's my next. So I've done the fried turkey. I do the brisket. I have a few other different things. I throw down on like ribeye and shit like that. Like
you season food.
Normal shit on the
season food. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
More
So here's the next thing. The next thing I got to do is I got to actually do my first run of my dad's gumbo. See, my dad makes it every year, like several times a year, and then my little brother started doing it, and so like I got one of them inviting me over to eat gumbo all the time. I never really feel like I need to make my own, but it's one of those things that's got to be added to the arsenal before it's all said and done. So
yes, sir.
That's up next.
You gonna come up with the cookbook, the Chad's cookbook?
We already have. We have a whole family cookbook. Matter of fact, I might run down and go get it. That might be. So I got.
Hey, start passing cookbooks down the generations. Y'all kids will love you.
Yo, so listen, check it out. That's actually. I tell you what, I'm gonna do it because we're talking about this is all family and everything. I'm gonna go run down and get it. I'll be right back. So y'all keep it cooking, and I'll be right back because I got to show y'all this thing. It's pretty cool.
Cool. So Nicco, did you do anything for New Year's or just kind of chill?
New Year's Eve, I was like really contemplating on where I wanted to go and like if I really want to go out in Chicago and probably other places around this world. It's not nice. So as soon as 12 o'clock hits, the people who have guns and have ammo to spare be like, it's New Year's. Pow, pow, pow. Like,
right.
It wasn't even New Year's, and I started hearing people let off with their guns, and I was like, "Oh, that's cute." So I'm just gonna have to keep my head down.
Right.
So I went out to the suburbs where my homies are. We kicked it in his garage, had an enjoyable time, and then I didn't do anything New Year's except for kick my feet up and indulge in some podcasts and clean up a little bit. How about yourself?
Mostly the same. I didn't go nowhere. I've had, as we've talked about, I've had the Bumblebee variant since Monday, so I'm on the fix right now.
You have 5 days.
Right.
Charlie,
which is bullshit.
Charlie,
which is
5
bullshit.
days. So
that's bullshit.
Go out.
I'm telling you right now.
Share your love. Go share your
that's
love.
Bullshit. That's bullshit. Because I'm telling you right now, I am not feverish. I have not been feverish but once throughout this whole shebang. But I was feverish last night. Feverish.
Mm.
That is bullshit. That
But you
5-day
gotta
bullshit
listen
is bullshit.
To the people who
That
are
don't
always
know
right.
shit. Right.
Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, no, that one. They don't know no shit. Right.
Right.
Mhm.
That didn't specialize in none of this shit. These are just assholes who claimed power. That's
Yeah.
all that is.
No, facts.
You know,
It's funny they tell you not to listen to Rogan or some of these other people and everything. It's like,
right.
but they've been listening to Bill Gates this whole time. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, you guys are idiots. You know, and I've spent quite a bit of time too, Nicco, over the last few days looking at some podcasts. I watched Rogan and I had watched one of his with the Peter guy that we can't mention his name. But I was already aware of him because of the
Wait,
thing
was
going
that
on in
the-
Arizona next
Was
week.
that the DOC, the doc?
He was
Yeah.
one of the doctors.
There's multiple ducks that have been on there.
Yeah, and I strongly suggest anybody that hasn't seen those two go find them. You can find them still, even though they're
I
censoring
actually-
the shit out of them.
Yeah, no, I want to watch them. What's the name of the doctors?
No,
I
we're not
can't-
doing that.
Oh,
We'll
wait,
tell you
wait,
later.
wait, wait,
I
wait,
can't-
wait,
cannot,
wait.
because
This is
we
like
like
seriously,
having a
like you
channel.
mention their names and they're like, your channel's down. Bye.
Yeah, funny, you don't
okay.
have a channel no more. Is it
They ban
What's
us
your
on
channel?
the simple things, like we can't
Right.
name Santa
I can
Claus
text it
anymore.
to you.
All right, so
I'll
listen.
text it to
So
you.
listen. All right, so this is the famous.
Oh,
cookbook
y'all
I'm telling
got that official.
So we did this. My mom, just to put it in perspective, my mom
I'm
is
thinking
the
of a
oldest.
notebook.
My mom is the oldest of 11 children.
Okay.
Okay. Her mom and her mom's sister married my grandfather and his twin brother.
Oh, that's
Double wedding, two families, like where the two sisters married the two brothers from the opposite families or whatever.
so they're like in-law.
So it's all double.
in-law.
It's all double first cousins. Every one of them is double first cousins because they come from the same. And they had 11 children too. So there's like this massive family tree that just starts there, and then you go follow it back. So what they did, they put
Chad
this
has
thing
a
together.
Christmas tree. It's got
Exactly,
Middle, it's the middle. It's got branches, but they only go
Hey,
out.
No, listen. It's not. They weren't marrying their own brother and sister. My grandfather and his brother married my grandmother and her sister.
Hey, you gotta like.
So look. So here's this is their double wedding. So that's
nice.
That's the two sisters and my uncles, the twin brothers. But anyway, they go all the way back. So this thing goes back. I think it's, if you go forward to my kids, it's like generation 13. How far back this thing goes.
Wow.
So it's got like a whole lineage thing, and it goes through like the stories. Like one of them, I didn't even know this, but like one of the people in my family was like just left on the steps of like a hospital or something like that, it was left with the people who adopted him. Anyway, a lot of us never even knew. What's up, Tim? A lot of us never even knew that he was adopted. Like he was just part of the family because he was a baby when he was adopted. The reason he was adopted is because somebody was like, "Hey, look, I can't take care of my baby. Can you take care?" And there's we had the whole letter that she wrote and everything for what she wanted to do. Wanted to make sure, raised him Catholic and all that stuff. I got baptismal certificates and death certificates and all this kind of stuff in here. And then we get into this. So then we get to the recipes. So there's a whole slew of recipes.
Hey, you better stop showing them. Somebody's gonna stop it, freeze it, and then
it's fine.
Snatch y'all recipes.
No, it's fine. But anyway, somewhere in here, I don't know where I don't remember what page it's on. Oh, here's my dad's gumbo.
Nice.
2 pages of
Very cool.
of like how to make that shit. And then my fried turkey is one of these. Well, anyway, trust me, my fried turkey's in there. My fried turkey's in here. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm
what?
legit.
Your kids up next? What?
That's the plan. Hopefully, get them on board, get them cooking something. My wife will. It'll be something vegan, I'm sure, and my daughter even more so.
For sure,
my wife's will be vegetarian at the very least, and my daughters will definitely be vegan.
Yeah. My wife has similar kind of idea, not quite as organized as that is, but she has several of the recipes and cookbooks from her family as well. One of these days we'll have like the Ron Paul family cookbook they had.
Right, there you go.
We had one of them motherfuckers, dude.
I highly recommend it because it's really this is, to quote Michael Irvin, we're losing recipes. Like it's
Right.
there's really some stuff, and it's not just about the recipes themselves, but it's that was
You're losing the
metaphorical.
culture.
Yeah, exactly. That was
Or
metaphorical
in how to
for
fix shit.
culture, tradition, your ancestry, who came from where, what
For
that
sure.
means, maybe why you do some of the things that you do, why people are a certain height, why certain people are good at things. You know what I mean? Like shit like that. You find out, oh yeah, Uncle Rex from the 1830s actually, I don't know, he fried the first turkey out. No, I'm just joking. But stuff like that.
Sure.
No, understandable. No, actually, I was talking to my dad. So yesterday we went over to my uncle's house, and they had this big bomb of soup jumu, and I was like, "Holy shit, that's a lot." And we go sit down, have our conversation, and everybody's speaking Creole at the table, and I'm like, "So, Dad, why don't I know this?"
Right.
And so it's one of my biggest feats, one of my biggest goals, I should say, is to revitalize that Haitian tradition amongst my family and siblings. It just sucks because I suck with communication. I don't like a lot of people. And people is also as family. I mean, I love you, but I don't got to like you. So it's kind of difficult reaching out and staying that close. But my aunt is legit 10 minutes away, and she makes some of the best rice that I've had. There's no reason why I shouldn't be over there and be like, "Yo, Foon, what it do?"
Right.
You know, like
Sure.
so
Pick up on that culture and that food, man.
you got to.
My daughter has a whole YouTube video. Yeah, I have Angry Birds pants on, by the way. My pajama pants.
So he's Angry
I'm
Birds
still
from the
in my
waist down.
pajamas. Yeah, that's right. But no, my daughter she did a whole like YouTube video with her grandmother, my mother-in-law, who lives with us, a couple of years back, where my mother-in-law taught her how to make her like badass famous corn souffle, and like from start to finish. And so that actually might be one of the ones that she throws into the cookbook as it progresses. But it's going to be with it's not going to be milk in it. It's going to be like almond milk or something. You know how it is.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, and I agree with you though, man. We got to kind of re-grab that shit. I mean, because we're going to lose it. And there's nothing wrong with trying new shit. I mean, Amber made, and she hasn't made it in a long time, but she made this Moroccan dish several years ago that was just delicious. And, add to that shit, find new things, add to your own personal culture. But yeah, it'd be nice to hand that shit down to your kids, simple instructions on how to make a good meal.
Right.
You'd think that would be part of our culture, but unfortunately, Walmart and Kroger have taken that the fuck out.
Yeah.
No, fuck that. Fast food restaurants.
Right.
That's true.
And just regular restaurants, like there's so many people who just like, oh, we're, let's all get together and let's go somewhere. And it's like, that's the thing. And I get on a certain level, I get it, because especially for like Mother's Day and things like that,
Something
where
special.
it's like,
Oh, my mama love crabs. So
let's take well, there's that, but there's also like, generally speaking, whenever it's like, hey, we're gonna have a big home cooked meal family gathering, the women are gonna be in the kitchen doing all that stuff. So when you want to give them a day off of that shit,
just take over and just hop on the grill.
Well, and that's what I do. That's why I like, this, I did my turkey, I did my brisket, did those things. But my wife is still in there with me. She's doing her mashed potatoes and green beans and all this stuff and different.
That's why you got kids, Chad.
Different dishes. Yeah, no, exactly. but it's real. But I also think like beyond just the cookbook stuff. Yeah, beyond just the cookbook stuff, it's that connection to your ancestry too. While you have people still alive who can tell you stories, write that shit down.
Sure.
And or record it, the video that stuff. And then
make a cookbook out of your ancestry. Well,
exactly.
Not cannibals. Okay, we're not cannibals out here, but
right.
I knew what you meant.
I had to specify. People are stupid these days.
Yeah.
But you're right too, Chad, with that as well. My dad, he's a prolific writer. As we've talked before, he and I don't actually get along very well. But he's written a book. I haven't ever seen it because he won't share shit. But he's got a book about his life. I'm looking forward to reading that, because what if I show up in it? You know, what if he says some shit that surprises me, or he was proud of me for something that I never knew that he was proud of me for because he doesn't tell me nothing. You know, or maybe he didn't hate black people.
Walked in on Marcus in the bathroom this morning. Damn. No, I'm just
man. I never thought it could get that small.
Oh damn! You had to go that way with it, man. I was trying to give you a chance to prop yourself up.
Hey, wait! This is a huge pause moment, but like,
yeah, for real.
You say you're black from the waist down. You can't do that.
He just
now
means he wears pants or shorts that are black.
Right now I'm blue.
Doesn't mean that. In fact, actually, when he told his story about his little dabbling in the menage a trois range, he actually said, and I quote, both of them wanted a piece of my little penis.
Right,
so,
right.
Here we go. Get the fuck out of here, motherfucker.
Oh yeah.
Stop coming in my chat and putting whatever fucking language that is in my chat.
He's probably calling us hoes. He's probably calling us hoes.
Who knows?
He said Marcus has small penis.
I'm sorry. It's just the way God made me.
Genetics.
Right. Is that way I was born white?
That stuff is not in the cookbook, by the way. I'm just letting you know.
Okay,
but yeah, I think that part of what we do, because what we're supposed to be talking about is the year in review and moving forward. And I think part of moving forward means, you know, looking back with respect at what we have from the past. You know, each of us recognized this year an ancestor of freedom or three that we found some inspiration from. And I think that's important to do. I think it's important to go back. You know, anarchists so often want to like trash on people like George Washington, or they want to trash on people like Thomas Jefferson or John Locke. Okay, yeah, they weren't anarchists. You're right. And they pointed the fucking direction. Ain't nobody at that time.
I wasn't an anarchist 15 years ago. You know,
right.
Look, I just showed up here. You know,
right.
I just showed up here.
But so speaking of just showing up, I know he's been here for a while, but Dutch just proved that he's about 5 minutes behind on the stream because he just said pause, and we had already moved way past that. But catch up, Dutch. No,
it's that Dutch internet.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah, it may be that this is as caught up as he can be at this point. But I do want to say, like, it's not lost on me. Nicco and I were talking about this New Year's Eve. Nicco texted me, you know, this really nice message right around midnight about the new year and all that stuff. And I was like, yo, it's episode 99 coming up.
Yeah.
And so we got some completion, you know, type shit working here. And then it's also today's is a 9-day, right, Nicco?
Yes, sir.
It's 1/2/2022. So you add all that stuff and it's 9. So there's some completion type energy that just kind of comes into this anyway. Hopefully that completion energy includes this bullshit that had me taking a nap until about 20 minutes before we went on the year.
You are never too old for a nap. Never too old.
Oh, it ain't got nothing to do with age. I felt like
I know you would rather be productive than taking a nap because you're turning into a transformer.
Oh, I got so much stuff to do before you know I go back to work this week. It's I did not need to lose today, but no. So let's talk about that, about the year that was 2021 and the year the because we're coming up on our 100th episode.
Oh shit!
And so you know we've been doing this thing for a little bit now. I don't know, what was it, like 17 or so, or I don't remember how many it was. You did a few of them. You did almost 20, or maybe I don't remember when I came on.
Several.
Yeah.
I showed up around like 20 or 30.
20 something. Yeah. So almost all of those have been all three of us together. And we've had some pretty badass guests, and we got another badass guest coming up next week. Shamika Michelle. Do not miss that. I can't wait for that. And she's into the astronomy stuff and everything. So we can.
I saw that. Yeah, I watched that with Hotep Jesus. By the way.
Yeah, so we can talk about all kinds of stuff because there's our normal stuff, which is, I think a lot of what she can help us tap into is some of the stuff that we've touched on, but we haven't really dealt with it on a like an episode long scale,
Sure.
but just like restoring like the nuclear family.
Facts.
And getting us back to like that shit that I showed you in that cookbook, you know, like getting back to like the, you know, Sunday afternoon dinner at grandma and grandpa's house.
Yeah.
And getting everybody together. And yeah, exactly. So let's go around the room. Marcus, you go first with your takeaways from 2021 and really for like, you know, the whole time that we've been doing this thing together.
Well, that's really long, so I will have to abbreviate a bit.
That's fine. You're supposed to abbreviate it. I didn't.
Right.
You don't have to.
I'm still long-winded to
redo every episode verbatim, man. Come on.
But one of the things that I really think that for me, there's two things that were like the biggest takeaways from this year, and one of the ones, and I'm going to go with the non-religious one first. The first one was political, and the one that impacted me probably the most was the episode we had with Jeff on the right. And he, in front of us while we were here, became an anarchist on air.
Mm-hmm.
He went, "Oh shit, y'all are right." Now, he didn't change anything that he talks about. It didn't change anything that he has already talked about.
Right.
And because that's not what being an anarchist means. You can believe that you can exist in a smaller government because you need it to get to know government and still be an anarchist. You can still do that. All being an anarchist is understanding that these people who are in control of things, those people are criminals. And Jeff went, "You're right. That is exactly what those people are. They are criminals." And he made that transition that time. And what that really signified to me was the merger of Aquarian Anarchy with Hotep Nation. It really was that moment that I went, "Yeah, I'm a Hotep." All this nonsense aside, and I don't care what anybody wants to say.
Well, and I would even say that Jeff wouldn't consider himself like necessarily part of Hotep Nation.
Yeah.
What it is, to me, what's even more beautiful than that is that, like Brian talked about a week or two ago on the show, is that like when they pump out the Candace Owenses and the Brandon Tatums of the world,
Right,
to give white people an excuse to be racist because a black person's saying the racist shit for them, so that they can be like a surrogate racist for them. Okay. Anyway, they you bring in this more cultural peek into what it's really like. Like, okay, yeah, look, I get it, you know, Biden's on some bullshit, you know, but I'm also like, I'm not going to be like a Charlie Kirk fan and a Ben Shapiro fan. Like, there's a spot in between, or maybe that rises above all that stuff, that is about like a conservatism that's more about like values and like family and freedom and free markets and that's that type of stuff, that doesn't go into this neocon, you know, let's go blow everything up all over the world, BS and all that stuff, and like a populism too, that also combines with this. But we're not gonna just like, we're not like dyed in the wool Republicans either, where we're just gonna be, you know, I don't know, some like Jesse Lee Peterson or something, you know what I mean? Where it's
usable
like this, it's they're not to give that window into that. So then that makes it to where now somebody like Jeff, somebody like Sonny, Felicia, Alizia, King Randall, Maj, all these folks, whether they're libertarian or conservative, independent, or maybe even Republican, they're a different breed, because they are bringing that real freedom message, and that like, it's not okay for the cops to gun people down in the streets just because law and order.
Have a badge.
Well, they have a conscience. You know,
exactly.
When you have a conscience, it makes it a lot easier to decipher. Okay, well, that's not okay. that is bullshit. And like, okay, that makes sense because he was acting real ignorant. You feel me? Like, it doesn't matter about the person's overall political views. We've brought on all individuals who have wanted freedom for the best cause and how they see it.
For sure.
It's not simply due to the fact that, oh, well, they're a Republican and they agree with my values. No, they just agree with my values because it's just a conscientious
Because they're not
decision.
shitbags.
You feel me? It's not. It's
Right.
not difficult to be able to perceive what is properly good, and then what you think is just, emotionally good.
Right.
Logically good and emotionally good could be two different concepts. Yeah, we don't want nobody being gunned down in the streets, but if I have a Republican name tag against me and said, well, look at X, Y, and Z, he was acting like an idiot. He had a gun on him. That's what happens, and that's what our police are for. But then if I have a liberal name tag next to me and I'd be like, well, he had a wife and kids and this, that, and the third. Okay, well, that nigga's not here to explain his actions and why he did it for being an idiot in the first place. So you can cry emotionally, or you can try and come at this logically, or just knock all that bullshit aside and just come from it from a human perspective. If it was your grandmother, if it was your daughter, if it was you, if it was your brother, you would think about it in all aspects. Granted, you're emotionally attached to it, but you still have to be logical about the whole entire situation. Life is life, and it gives very difficult lessons for motherfuckers to learn.
Amen. So I guess for me, with all of that said, it was the merger, what this year meant to me, to go with all of that, the merger of the philosophy that is Hotep and the philosophy which I call being an anarchist, being a freedom lover, whatever that is. That idea of unity, watching the program that Hotep Jesus put together yesterday about what a Hotep is, featuring Chad. So if you want to go check that out, I strongly suggest it.
Yeah, shout out to Taylor. Shout out to Hotep T-Rex.
Sure.
Taylor shot all that stuff and did all the editing and everything. He's a badass. He's and the Grifties are coming soon. We've been working together on that, getting all the clips and everything. So we're gonna have some awesome presenters. We're gonna have some awesome presenters and some good awards. But yeah, that was fun to be a part of, because we all got asked all these different questions, and then he just put this little montage together of like all of our responses, so that you could get like that organic, response from the folks who were there.
Hey, fuck the bullshit. When are we getting a live studio? Granted, US is about to light on fire next week, but like
when we get some fucking funding.
Yeah, right. Speaking of which, Nicco,
I have the space. I'll do it later. Oh,
you do it later. All right.
I'll do it later. We only 30 minutes in.
Right. But the real answer to that, Nicco, is that I'm worried about my fucking job.
True.
I have the space. I have everything we need. And Jonesy says
Jonesy.
Shout out to Jones.
Yeah, for sure.
Jonesy's in there too. My man Jonesy. What's up, Jonesy?
So at the end of the day, the only thing we need that would push us forward is if we could get some sponsorship. So if y'all know some freedom loving sponsors, we'd love to have them. Send them our way. DM me on Twitter. I'll fucking hook it the fuck up. But
yeah, if TPUSA wants to, no, I'm just joking.
right. We'll bend whatever rules. No, I'm just kidding. I just need that blue check. No,
I want to sign my soul over just quick. Look, we just got here. Okay, we just got here. Before we sell our souls, I want a little bit of the freedom income money to slide through, and then we could be like, this is nice, but what the other side? Is it greener?
Disney. Jonesy said Disney.
Right.
So I'm gonna have to dress in rainbows and purple hair and shit.
Boys and girls, we're going to talk about freedom.
Right, for sure. Yeah. So, but yeah, I think that Hotep switch is really, for me, was a big deal, and a lot of that was due to people who like Cannon or like Jonesy or like any of these people that we've talked to, who I just really found kinship with, and who I really found that, they feel like family, so they must be family, and move forward. The second thing to wrap up what from my perspective is actually probably really started with Felicia. And that is, I found someone who isn't a minister per se, isn't trying to be that. I have influences, like we had Mark Reslin's on. We
I
had
think I have influenza too.
right,
Anyway,
right,
sorry.
right. So, but when we had Felicia on and she was talking about her relationship with God, it impacted me. And I've had some really, really interesting conversations with Aaron, who has also been a guest.
Yeah.
And what has happened to me religiously in this past year has been very interesting. I'm never going to not be a practitioner of voodoo. That will always be part of who I am. That is always going to be a foundation of my spirituality. G'day, who is the god, if you will, in voodoo of death and dance and sex, and he's a good dude, is one of my best friends. I'm never going to give that up. That doesn't mean I don't have a place in my heart for Jesus. That doesn't mean that the Bible is wrong. That doesn't mean that I can't open my fucking eyes and see Revelations and Daniel playing out in the streets of America every single year. I've always said that I believe what I see, I believe what I feel, I believe what you can prove to me. And the Bible has proven itself to me time and time and time again this year. And I'm not going to deny that.
Told you.
Right. I'm not going to deny that. Do I believe that Christians know everything? No, they don't. They think that my God of death is a devil who told me to look up Jesus and to follow his teachings. Would a devil do that? No.
There's a lot of that propaganda to try to get people to not see certain things through other people's lenses. Anyway, what were you gonna say, Nicco?
No, it's entirely factual how it's all demonized. If it's not given to you, I'm going to demonize it. It's simple as that. Because if I don't want you to follow those certain steps, I'm going to make sure it looks as ugly as fuck. Point blank, period.
Right.
And I can co-sign on that with Marcus because I have all these different books on all these different religions and all these different practices of religion. I haven't dwelled deep into them. I'm sorry. I'm a little slow on that. But the point being is that we all make reality through belief. If you get 100 people in a tribe to believe in Jesus and another 100 people in a tribe to believe in Gade, and then another tribe to believe in Buddha, all three of those are real entities. Now, if what happened in the Crusades happened through all three of those tribes, they'll still believe in Jesus. They'll still have a belief in a higher power. It's not going to be taken away or stripped from an individual. I mean, it has been taken away and stripped, but like the ideology behind it, it's always there to prosper. And with that stable foundation for it to prosper, you can grow so much as an individual in learning the ways of acceptance. And when you learn that way of acceptance, who the fuck is going to tell you that something is wrong? Like, you're not able to believe the opposite side. I'm able to believe all sides. I just pick and choose what belief really holds to me. So I do not deny or reject any religion. I mean, Luciferians, for fuck's sake, I'm not going to practice it. Hell no. But their belief, one of my former homies read through the whole Bible that was, I guess, for the devil. And he was like, that shit's all misconstrued, bro. Like, what they put out is that, oh yeah, we're going to go to a cemetery, which, I mean, voodoo practitioners sometimes do, but like, we're going to go to a cemetery and summon up a demon. Well, sorry, boys. Like, that's not the right way to go. Not all demons are nice. I hope you know that. But like, they still have a common belief. And that belief was what was able to allow their alchemy of work to prosper.
Sure.
I would like to also segue into this year has been a roller coaster, but for this podcast, like, I would like to point out, like, I was privy to speaking to so many influential people hands down so many influential people that have given me little tidbits of knowledge.
For sure.
And even if they're not super influential over social media, they're an influential individual because we brought them on this podcast, for fuck's sake.
Mm-hmm.
and so
Yeah, and then they're on Fox News like
Right.
later on in the week.
You feel me?
On prime time.
And so, like, being able to connect with other people that are like-minded like me and who have an influential base only shows to me that we all are influencers.
Mm-hmm.
We all have the ability to influence and how to direct our life. That don't mean that we have all control, because there's someone named God up there.
Right.
And he know how that roll, or he and she, whatever you want to call it. But like,
no, but what you said is true. Like, shout out to all our people. Like, I'm just gonna go through the people in the chat and the people in our Telegram group. Like, so like Natasha, Hotep Dutch, Tim, Jonesy,
Daryl,
Hotep Daryl, yeah, Halima, like Brody, all these, Saul
Michael.
G, like these guys, yeah, Michael, like these guys are influencing us. Like, we're
On a
influencing
daily.
each other
on a daily.
and it's really amazing to see that, like, even though we have a similar, and that's kind of what I talked about in the Hotep Nation video, was understanding that there's like this main goal, which is to set us all free and to make sure that we're all like happy and fulfilled and healthy and in camaraderie and communion with God and with each other. But how we get there, we all have different approaches. We all have different skills. We all have different
backgrounds.
Factual.
Exactly.
Factual.
Like all that stuff. And it had to see it all coalescing into this beautiful tapestry of like that thing that you had with the bridge was beautiful for our thumbnail a few weeks back. It's you have all these different people that are all on the bridge to freedom, and we're all going together. Because we're willing to say, like, you know what? I know we probably don't agree 100% on everything, but we agree enough on the stuff that really matters that other shit don't even matter.
Yeah.
What is it? Farrakhan said for the black people and probably for people around the world, but he's like, okay, look, we don't got to have this conversation about God now. Let's have this conversation about how the fuck we gonna get out this predicament. And then we can discuss about our disagreements.
Right.
But we agree more on that shit's fucking up, or we agree more on that than opposed to us bickering about which one of our higher powers is much more of a real entity.
For sure. And to the political point with that, Nicco, you know, we recently had your acquaintance on that's a communist. And when we talked to him, and you might say, well, you guys disagreed an awful lot. Yes, we fucking did.
But that's good.
That's good. He still wants the world to be free. And what do communists locate? What do they find? And this is in just the run of the mill people. What do they find that we find common ground with? Rich ass motherfuckers are trying to enslave the goddamn world.
Right.
Rich ass motherfuckers are doing that.
Factual.
If there is a communist next to me, shooting at them, trying to stop them from killing my family, that's my buddy. I don't give a fuck what he believes. I don't care, because I'm not trying to tell you that I know everything that there is. I'm not trying to say that. What I'm trying to say is that what we're doing ain't working. Giving power to psychopaths isn't working. Let's stop doing that shit.
Well, I mean, that takes into the accountability factor that people don't like to play on, you know. Or I'm just here. So, like, yeah, we're just here. And I said a while back, and I'll bring it up, we hit the red button all the fucking time to go to war for America. We signed the checks for America to fuck us over. We sit politely and watch the news like we have no direction on how this motherfucker can go. Like, I what is it? I was watching one of HJ's podcast about hiring a private police force. Instead
bringing you dinner, Marcus. You gonna eat on air? Oh, okay.
No, she's bringing me a refuel on my drink.
I thought you was gonna say reefer. I was like, huh, okay. No, but it's the fact that police all act ignorant, and he said that the powers that pay them is their bosses, but don't we pay their bosses? So if that's the case, why the fuck not speak up? Oh, we have to wait for somebody
Well-
that is low key my skin
Mhm.
for it to be a problem, because
Mhm.
white on white crime's not put on the news like that.
For sure.
It's really not, and it's always been a segregation in between what they want to put out, what horror story they want to slide some fear porn into your life,
Word.
and make sure that you're in a perpetual mindset of somebody's out to get me. I'm not
Fear,
safe.
yeah.
I cannot trust nobody.
Divide and conquer.
You feel me?
Mhm.
And that's what they do a lot. They love to do that shit.
Well,
And
it's divide and it's okay. Don't worry, we'll take care of it if you just give us more power.
Yeah, but when have they fixed it? Like my biggest problem with Jib Jab Jones right out now is the fact that I had a conversation with my cousin, and he was like, "Oh, I did a little research, and there were some funny things that were in the rhetoric." And I'm looking at him, and I'm like, "I love you still, but you still applied it to your life. So it's like, do you really care? Like, how much do you care about your own freedom?"
Right.
Now, me, I have to, since I'm in Chicago and tomorrow's the last day for lockdowns, I have to figure out new ways to go on dates. Like, hey, you want to slide to Indiana?
That was so crazy though, bro. She told y'all 2 weeks ago, like, listen, situation is dire. It's an emergency. So starting in 2 weeks, we're gonna do something about it.
Right.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Where does the common sense?
Because they needed everybody to still go Christmas shopping. That's why.
No, Christmas shopping, they were allowing everybody to. Okay, you know what? I know there's going to be plenty of hotels booked for this New Year's.
That's right.
And there's going to be fireworks, and I'm like, yo, bro.
They looked at the calendar and said, "This is a dead period anyway. Nobody spends money this time of year anyway. So
right.
Let's lock them all down. Then they'll spend money in from Amazon and rent movies."
I just went to a comedy show. What is it? Friday. And Thursday. It was Darrell. Basically, have you seen Wildin' Out, Nick Cannon show?
A couple of times. I haven't.
Yeah.
I haven't,
okay.
I haven't
well,
watched.
It's basically his crew. Like, but a few of them decided, and Instagram people. It was funny for 3 people. All right. So it's like they had a lot more, but I was like, but that's besides the point. The point being is that even the comedians were joking, and they said, "Where are my vaccinated hoes at?" And they're like, "Ah." And the person on the mic was like, "Y'all finna die." And she's like, "No, I'm just kidding. Nah, but for real, y'all finna die." And, and I'm funny. Like, wow. And they went through. They couldn't forget about, the special community, the LGBTQ. They asked, they were like, "Where they at?" And they went down, called attendance. There weren't that many people, but like, it's fucked up how it's like there's so many restrictions. We cannot talk freely on something that's a free service.
Right.
It's so ass backwards how like common sense has not picked up. Actually, I should have found out that like censorship, I didn't realize it, but like I realized it later. Like, y'all had me sign a petition to stomp the R word, which is retarded, because it's retarded. Like, I understand that y'all want to protect those individuals, but like, niggas call niggas every day. But y'all don't stop the N word.
Right. Yeah, and you're right, and I think this might be a good time to kind of get into the sickness a bit. If you guys haven't figured it out, because my voice is a little bit off, I have almost certainly probably the Bumblebee version of the new
Transformer.
Yeah, I probably have that. I didn't actually get tested, but the only people who hadn't had it in my family got it and got tested. There were 3 people that were here that all got it. We've been sick for a week. And my whole family's been sick for a week. And I pretty much have all of the symptoms that they say. All I got to say is I am an overweight 46-year-old man.
God damn.
And and I'm okay. It did not kill me. I worked.
Yet.
I didn't miss a single. Yeah, you didn't kill me yet.
Yeah.
I worked for 3 days in the midst of what would be the disease.
Right.
I worked. I didn't miss a day. I didn't miss an hour. Was it hard? You bet. Like going to work with the flu. It sucked. I had to shit a lot. I had to puke a lot. It was awful. But I am a 46-year-old man with several comorbidities, and I'm okay. I'm not saying that everybody is going to be okay. I'm not saying that nobody's going to die.
No, it's just their time. That's all.
Yeah. What I'm saying is I'm okay. And the fact that they are freaking the fuck out about what I have, it is not about the sickness. It is not about it. I think that Scott Creighton, who, by the way, Uncle Hotep is
going to be on Uncle Hotep Factor tonight. Yep.
Right. You should catch that after our show. But Scott Creighton said early on that that they're not trying to protect you from the bug. They're trying to protect the bug from you. And that is absolutely the case. And you can see that by why are they locking down? Because this it's been in the media. They have said that this may be the end of this sickness because this particular variant is better, is easier for your body.
It's spreading faster, and it's not doing nearly the damage that the other stuff was.
So it'll bring it to an end. So they've got to stop it because they Biden just signed fucking paperwork to have testing for 3 more fucking years. So of course. Of course, they've got to waste
test positive if you don't get tested.
Right.
Yeah.
And so
that's for everything. Though.
So this
I don't know what I got right now, but it feels like ass. It's I had a sinus headache, and I had I had backache and everything. But I'm just doing my usual thing. I got tonic water. I'm sipping on.
Fancy? Wait, y'all got the carbonator?
It's got the quinine. No. It's just some tonic water. It's like Canada Dry or whatever, some bullshit. Like
okay. Anyway, so y'all got a can.
It's got the quinine. No, it's out of a bottle. But anyway, it's got the quinine in it. That's the for those people who don't know, quinine is actually the original non-synthetic version of what they use to make with the HCQ or whatever. This is what they do. That's another thing that I want everybody to remember is that everything, because we've talked about. My wife and I talked some about people who have gotten the shots and things like that, and what some of the potentially disastrous effects could be of that. And she's she's really kind of upset about it and worried for them and everything. And I was like, look, I still think that there's a possibility that all those worst case scenarios don't happen, and that a lot of these people are going to be okay. And she's like, how you can't reverse it? I was like, all right, let me hip you to something real quick. So you're telling me the creator of the universe is incapable of reversing something that some jackass who has a lizard neck or whatever made everybody inject into their arms? No, that's not. They got it in the lab somewhere. We shall overcome. Right. And this is we're gonna be okay, and we need to keep speaking that into existence, because what a lot of times is one of the biggest parts of this that's been difficult. What I've noticed is the people who are the most afraid are the people who end up dealing with this in the worst way. Yeah. Hold up and everything, and it's devastating psychologically and emotionally and everything else. But what I'll say is, excuse me. See, there it goes. It came up and bit me.
Don't fight it, Chad.
But no. So back to God. All right. So God made all this stuff. That's why I brought up the thing about quinine. God made all this stuff naturally occur in our environment. The problem was, for a lot of these big companies, they can't patent some shit. That's why they make it illegal for you to grow weed in your backyard.
Right.
Because how can we do that when we got opiates and Tylenol and all this other codeine and everything else to sell to you? Right. No, you can't heal yourself with that natural shit that you can grow in your backyard. We'll make that illegal. and we'll make all this other stuff legal, and then we'll funnel in some other shit that will also make illegal, like crack and cocaine and all this other stuff. We'll bring cocaine in, and then we'll have like these different versions where you cook it up, or you just take the free powder version.
What did I tell you? They demonize everything that's good, or not necessarily good, but they demonize, and they love to demonize the things that can help us get through certain situations, if not situations, through life. You know,
without them.
Well, no, poppies, like opium comes from poppies. Like this is like this is naturally occurring. Okay, that doesn't mean that it's terrible. But when you synthesize a bunch of, or you take it and you pervert what nature has provided, when you pervert what nature has provided, you end up with a lot of the shit that we have now. So like, what am I doing? I'm citrus water. I'm drinking a ton of water. I have the tonic water and stuff like that. Yeah, teas and things like that. Loading up on vitamins, and not like the shit that you go get at Walmart on the shelf, but like there's places that you can get that actually have like the real ascorbic acid, doesn't have all the other bullshit that vitamin C tablets and everything come with, and then all the other zinc and copper so that you can ingest the stuff properly and everything. Like there's all these different ways that you can go about boosting your own immune system. That
we are not doctors, just saying.
No, right. But I'm just saying, this is what I'm doing. I'm not a doctor. This is not medical advice, but I'm saying God has provided a lot of really cool ways for us to help ourselves get stronger and healthier.
On the scale of, hold on, let me hit that pause button. On the scale of 1 to ass, are you like double cheeked up right now? Is it like,
no, I mean, all right. So
ass,
if it was like 1 to 10, how bad I felt, I had felt much worse. And I've had back in like 2006 or something like that, I had like horrible bronchitis. And like that was way worse than this. I've had the flu and spent the weekend watching fucking the Super Bowl and Star Trek reruns or some shit like that. Back, I don't know, 10 years ago or 5 years ago or something like that. So like I've had worse shit than this, where it's felt like I was in really, really bad shape. But like, I'm definitely not 100%. I'll say this: when I went down to get that cookbook earlier, I come down the stairs and my wife goes, "Well, you're chipper." Mind you, I came down the stairs the same way I always come down the stairs, but she's seen me the last day and a half.
Right.
And she was like, "How do you feel good?" And I'm like, "I mean, we're on the air, so I got to go. But yeah, I'm feeling okay. Like it's, so it's still like, I got, joint pain, back pain, shit
so
like that.
The body aches is
the body aches are there. And like I got some sinus shit and everything, but like it was like dry and like just pressure up in my head last night and this morning, and that's like down from like a 7 to like a 1 or 2. Right. And everything else is probably like in the 3-4 range. Just nothing.
Throw some lavender. Throw some lavender over your top lip and just smell it.
Sure.
To relax there, and then some tea tree oil on the temples.
Nice.
Got you. All right.
And I want to back up just.
Still,
for
we're
a
not
second.
doctors, but
right. Anyway. Oh yeah, sure. No, I'm not no doctor.
But for sure, but to talk about a doctor, Bertie Malone, if you can figure that out, Bertie Malone, who was recently on the Ganro,
Roberto,
who was recently on, definitely pointed out that the eye treatment, the Vermect, and that particular treatment, the reason that the pharmaceutical companies do not want to go with that is because it is generic, easy to come by, and everybody can get it.
So
it is not profitable.
Bro, I had somebody tell me, we were talking, so we had this little dog, Henry, that my daughter got, I think in 13, for her birthday. And he had some issues 6 months later or something like that. And I was talking with one of the guys at one of the plants that I go to, and I was telling him about how oh yeah, they said it might be this and it might be this, and if it's this, then this is gonna be some $1,500 something or other. And I was like, hell with that. No, we're not. We got to find another way. And he's like, he told me, this is not quite 10 years ago, 8 years ago. He was like, fuck a vet. He said, go to the feed store and get you some that stuff. He said, now you got to be careful. You got to you can look it up. You can find the dosing for the size of the animal and all this kind of stuff. But he's telling me about this shit back. And he's like, He's like, I do that. I put a little bit, every 6 months or so in like their water or something like that. He would put it in there. And he said that his dogs and everything, like they never, no heartworms, none of that shit.
Yeah.
Like all it is it's like these parasites and these bacterial type shits or whatever. It reduces inflammation and it also takes care of that. But anyway, I'm not gonna recommend that anybody do that. I'm just saying, like this guy for a dog said that it was something that could help you avoid some very expensive. Because I think it was like $10 or something like that for that shit. But
I'm not saying
the other people came out with the remix of that shit. The people who made the original came out with the remix, and now that one's the other one. They said wasn't approved. Right. Now this one is approved, and it's $700 for a 10-day treatment. So
wait. So you're telling me that that's approved, but I don't know. Has the FDA?
Yeah.
They gave the thumbs up on all this other stuff.
Yep.
Yeah. Are you talking about on the jab?
Yeah. No.
Jab is
okay.
That's
all
a
right.
Yeah, no.
The kind of jab that I just want people to know.
That's
remix.
Yeah, I understand that.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll take $750. Look, I'll figure out a way. But the fact is the FDA was like, oh yeah, we're good on this, but people aren't recognizing the signs. If FDA didn't say, yeah, no, go ahead, have fun with this. They're just sitting it back in their chairs, quiet, with the head down, taking a Mectone. You feel me? Mm-hmm. Those are the guys that are doing that. So it's like, what y'all doing out here?
Yeah. Again, this is, if anybody thinks that this pandemic is about sickness or protecting the health, then the one thing that it should have proven to you is that government sucks at protecting you and doing anything to help you, because they have been awful at it.
Look, I'll say this. All right.
If
it's about that stuff, if it's about health and all that stuff, back to Chicago where Nicco is. If you're going to lock everybody down, why wait until January 3rd and announce it on December 20th or whatever the fuck day it was?
Well, because
that's number one. Wait, hang on, wait. All right. Second, we're in the middle of like the most insane surge in the history of this thing. Cases like double what they were at the height of the thing last year, and they cut the isolation time from 10 days to 5 days. Like, what? Oh, wait, it gets better. They're also reducing the cycle threshold on that CRP test. Do you know that they're
I didn't know.
So they're finally.
So it's been 40 to 45 cycles, which means that like damn near everybody would test positive for anything. Like you whatever you're testing for, you multiply. Because what people don't understand is this isn't just like 40 to 45. You ever done that thing where you ask somebody, would you rather have like $100 at the end of the month, or $100 right now, $1,000 at the end of the month, or a penny a day compounded for the whole month?
Yeah.
Have you ever done the math on the penny a day? It's like over $1 million. Okay.
Millions.
So that's what this cycle threshold thing is. It's doubling the sample every cycle.
Right.
So when you get to 40, 45 cycles, you are at like 50 million units.
Right.
From starting at, a very small 1 or 2, 5, whatever the hell it is. Okay. So what they're doing now is they're walking it back to the NBA. The NBA just announced this. They were doing 35, I think, and they walked it back now to 30. So because what's happening is they're having to cancel and postpone game, or they're having these games played with a bunch of scrubs because half the damn team is on the protocol list.
Yeah.
And so what they decided to do, because this is so bad and we're in the worst surge ever, they decided, hey, wait a second, I know what we can do. We'll make fewer people test positive. We'll just walk it back.
Yeah.
So all you do is just make up new numbers, and then the
people
cases
don't
go
read.
down.
People don't read.
It's a miracle.
People don't read. They just get emotionally agitated.
That's for sure.
And once we do read, we're labeled as a certain group that theorizes on certain things. And it's like, how'd you get your science papers done? Y'all went through Google. So for me to use the same tools and sources you do, but just go a little bit more in depth, I'm a crazy one now. Or like, I don't make no sense. But it's like, wait, these niggas reneged on y'all multiple times. in so many aspects, but I'm the idiot. Okay,
Mhm.
I'll just play in my Dumbo chair.
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I want to kind of shift gears just a little bit, and I want to take this to Chad,
Uh-oh.
because one of the things that we tend to do as a movement is we tend to look at the negatives. We tend to
Yeah.
focus down on,
Mhm.
okay, this nasty shit's happening. That
That's why we
nasty
got to
shit's
laugh about
happening.
this stuff when they're doing
Right.
all this fuckery.
You're correct. But one of the things that I am very
Mm-hmm.
hopeful about is this year. People are like,
Word.
you know, I titled this "The Rise of Freedom" on purpose, and the reason is because people are figuring it the fuck out. Now, does that mean that these are going to be brand new voluntarists and they're going to come out libertarian, or they're going to no? But cops, real cops, the fucking enforcers of the police state are
Mhm.
no. This is bullshit. They see it. They're being made to sick dogs on people. They're being made to hurt people. Most
They
of these
went and busted up a
people,
little kid's birthday party in New
Right.
York and
Yeah,
shit.
yeah.
And the kids
That's
crying in
fucked
front of
up.
them and
That's
everything, and
Right.
they're
really
just
fucked up.
standing there yelling at everybody like a bunch of dicks.
right. But these people, most of those people, they're right. When they, and I'm not a big fan of the cops, so don't paint me a blue line.
Mhm.
But most of those people got into law enforcement because they wanted to help.
Mhm.
And they are now they may be corrupt as shit. I buy that. I know that. I see that.
Yeah, and I
But
think a
they
lot of that
still
is
don't want to be
too.
shitbags.
They see stuff. They see stuff that like is similar to like the stuff in the military. You know, guys go over, they see, and they have there's a certain level of like PTSD and other stuff, and
Factual.
so then you know they do have that thing where it's like, you know, one of us is going home tonight, like,
Right.
and it's going to be me, you know, and
Right.
so on a level I get that. The
Right.
problem I have with that is if you're so interested in going home tonight, why are you going fuck with some dude who's just sitting on the side of the road who's
Right,
not
doing
hurting
nothing.
anybody?
Right.
Because he's on the side of the road, he looks suspicious. Let me go
Right.
see. It's Ahmaud Arbery, and he's smoking weed in his car and like going
Right.
over like he was he was a rapper, so he was like going over some shit he had written, and he was just like working it, you know, playing the beat and like just kind of working through it. Like now that's not when he got killed. He got killed by those other guys, the dudes who hunted him down. But that was one of the things that people were showing, like, look at this guy. You know, you had run-ins with the police. Like, yeah, they went and instigated that
ran
shit
in on him.
Like he was just chilling. He's sitting in his car on the side of the road, smoking weed, rapping, trying to practice his craft, and you're gonna go fuck with him. Like, who's he hurting?
Right.
And that could have ended in somebody losing their life.
Right.
And so again, that's why I say, like, all right, cool, I get you. You want to make sure you go home to your family, so you are gonna shoot before you get shot. But what is that thing that they always tell people? They're like, well, you shouldn't have been there. If you're out in the wrong place at the wrong time, stuff like that doesn't happen. Like, well, you don't think that's the wrong place at the wrong time?
Right.
Like, just let people be. If they're not, if there's not some real shit going on, huh?
I said, let them live their lives.
Yeah.
And the thing is, they see that. The police see that shit. They are not a monolith. There are people who are going, I am done with being a bully. I don't want to do this shit anymore.
But
Nicco,
that's a good thing. No, that's a good thing, is that people are waking up, not to the exuberant rates that we would hope so, but individuals still are able to see the fuckery. I mean, even if it's at the last chapter on the last page, still people are going to wake up. You feel me?
Sure.
But wow, you're back. You're a motherfucking persistent bastard, aren't you? But to transition over to people waking up, somebody who brought me into this eye-opening experience is you, Chad. So what would you like to point out with how this year has impacted you?
I mean, I can't say anything about this last year without mentioning Men of Order, because that's been like that's been like one of those things where I think Marcus knows this because we've talked about this a good bit back when we started working together with Adam. All right, so what's up, Donnie? But when we started working on Adam's campaign, that was early 2018. Okay. And it was right around the end of 2017 is when it was right around this time of year where I had found like Ed Lattimore and a couple other folks. I'd already been following Maj for a while. And it may have been like I found Ed through Maj or somebody. I don't know. There's all this group of like, because like Ed, Hotep Jesus, Alexander, Juan Antonio Cortez, and a handful of other people were all kind of like in this same sort of. They were using Twitter to like do social commentary, and at the same time, like they were kind of grifting and building their their networks of like they were selling books and things like that, and different Alexander Cortez that has like a whole like workout regimen that he does, and it's good. Like the dude's a monster. He's really good, and great shape and everything. And so there was that stuff. And so Ed Lattimore had this whole thing about like how to like basically like flip this shit over and have an incredible next year. And I remember Juan Antonio Cortez said, he said, if there's anybody in your friend group who says that they can't wait for this year to be over, because this has been a terrible year, he's like, you need to like distance yourself and you need to start like moving to where, because what that is that's like a symptom of like a toxicity around like there's never going to be a year that's good enough.
Right.
Nope.
And so I was like, damn, like I'm one of those people. Like, fuck. So I guess I better change my outlook on this stuff. And so I decided right around that time, New Year's 17 into 18, that I was going to start doing some things differently. And that's how I actually like found, I think I had gone in like October of 17, and that's when I met Adam. But then I started doing some other stuff, reached out to Maj. That's how I got, excuse me. I just took a sip and it was like hanging out like in my lung. Anyway, I'm good now. My windpipe is cleared. But anyway, I got Maj to come to the convention in New Orleans the summer of 18. We did all that stuff. And then it was around that same time that I actually started to pay a lot closer attention to what Hotep Jesus was doing. And, had his book and all this stuff. Well, then the end of 18, early 19, I was like, hey, y'all need to like start clipping up your show and all this stuff. So that's my point is I started like trying to do stuff because I felt like I had something to offer in my skill set, in my worldview, in like who I am that might be able to help people, might be able to benefit people, and actually might keep me from going insane. Because if you just go through your normal 9 to 5 and just punch that clock and wait till you get to the weekend and keep doing all that stuff, like it can drive you crazy. It can make you depressed. It can make you want to kill yourself. And I actually had that, like I was in that state of mind before all that stuff. So I started doing all those things. And it's funny, like one of the things that I always wanted to do was create a website that was like an aggregator of like where you could find like health and nutrition stuff, and you could just go down that rabbit hole, and you could find freedom stuff, and you could go down that rabbit hole, and you could find stuff about investing, go down that rabbit hole, all the exercise and technology and like how to video edit and do the like it was all the things that either I could do or my wife could do, or that we could like we had some people in our circle who could do this stuff. And so I built my own website back in like early 2019. You can go look at it. It's I think it's youownyourself.net. I have like 3 articles, my 3 Steemit articles from when I was writing for Adam and everything. And it's very like it was starting to be something, but it never really materialized completely. And then we start this project late 2020 and really kicked it off in early 2021. And bro, like Jonesy, Ant, Hotep Jesus, like it's the 4 of us as like the founding members of the thing. And then we have like this incredible team of writers. I hope I don't forget anybody. Kamar, Adam, Andy, Thomas and Jordan, Dax, DT Dakota. I'm going to forget some people. Halima, Matt, Ryan. I'm going to forget somebody. And I'm going to feel it. Oh, Tremaine, Salim. Marcus even wrote for us. You know, we had a bunch of folks contribute, and now Phil Foster. Shout out to Phil Foster. I'll get my Phil Foster fitness hat. He's working with us now, helping us get our website done, and he's going to be sponsoring our stuff. So it's like getting to work with a bunch of people who and men who want to reclaim what people call toxic masculinity, and I call toxic masculinity bitch assness. That I think there's no such thing as toxic masculinity. I think what you're seeing is what you're seeing is not masculinity. It's men being bitches. That's what toxic masculinity is.
It's the play of kids still being in adult bodies. That's all it is.
Facts, absolutely, yeah. And so like that's been the thing. Like we've had this incredible run here on Aquarian Anarchy, and it's like I'm living in these two worlds where like I'm doing that, and I'm doing this other stuff with the Men of Order. But like what we were talking about before with Hotep Nation and with some of these folks who are just either like Hotep adjacent or whatever, that are more like, you know, conservative, more conservative political minded folks. And then anarchists, you know, all coming together to like form this like Voltron coalition. That's kind of what I feel like with this. It's like Men of Order and Aquarian Anarchy and like all that stuff kind of, and Hotep Nation, like all coming together too. Like we've got a fucking squad, dude.
Yeah.
And so sure. I'm pumped. 2022 is our year. 2021. And look, that's the whole thing. Like if there was ever a time for you to violate that thing that Alexander Juan Antonio Cortez said about if you say last year sucked and you can't wait for the new year, then get away from me. If there's any year that you could have like gotten away with saying that and everybody would have given you a pass, it was the last 2 years. And I'm here to tell you, I can't put a finger on 2 better years where I've enjoyed the relationships that I've built, the things that we've built together, and the progress that we've made towards actual freedom. Yes, there's this force that's pushing really hard in the opposite direction. I think there's a reason for that. I think that's because we're making so much progress.
Absolutely.
And I do think that, like, I was telling somebody the other day, I was like, man, they're really kind of stupid. Like I want to respect the devil, you know, because like I don't want to like take it for granted that, you know, this is just some dumbass bullshit that is being we're being bamboozled by. But I have to question the logic and the sanity of a group of people who, if they had just waited another 10 or 20 years, everybody would have been living like those fat fuckers on Wall-E, riding around on carts, looking at iPads 2 inches from their screen, from their face. And they would have rolled over and taken whatever. They'd have been sitting there on the cart. Oh, yeah. It would have just injected them. You wouldn't even have to get them to accept the mandate. Like
they don't got that much time. They don't got that much time.
Asses.
You don't think they got that much time?
No,
all right.
no.
Well, maybe.
Because look, there's a massive shift. Even though there isn't a lot of people prevalent that are like being really outspoken on social medias.
Mm-hmm.
What is it? My man's Malcolm said the revolution won't be televised.
Mm-hmm.
You got to think, we don't know half the people that are probably woke on our block, unless they got those signs that have BLM and all that goofy shit in their front yards. But there's too many people having, and prior to this, there's too many people having these small little sit downs complaining like, fuck, these big boy governments is doing a number on us. And there's too many people complaining about them. Now, are we going to pick up like our forefathers and get them gats and say, what's up? That was a parody. But like, no, because what Chad said is we are in a generation of bitch made niggas. And not only to mention, there's still kids that are behind me that are getting entirely fucked. Entirely like messed up mentally. And like all-time high of what is it? Mental illness. And so it's like, this is the best time for building and eradicating all of the shit that has happened prior, because the future is the present, and what you do in the future is relevant to what you do in the present. Not to mention, you cannot forget about the past. Speaking of the past, which is the present right now, I cannot wait to see what they put in history books for this period of time.
For sure.
That's
Yeah,
gonna be some
fuck
funny
no.
shit.
It'll be wild.
But
It'll be a footnote.
And that's why. That's another reason why. So what I want to do with Men of Order too is, I was thinking about this weekend. I got to talk to Jonesy Ant and Hotep Jesus about it, but I almost want to turn it in because we already have like an email list and everything. If you're not on the email list, get on the email list. But
I got you.
We have an email list, and we'll send stuff out occasionally to that. But and we need to step that up and do that more frequently. But what I want to do also is I want to actually have a physical newsletter. I want to have something that
tangible, something tangible,
be tangible that can't be
come in the mail.
It can't be digitally altered. Well, I'm just saying, like, because I've been thinking about this. Brian said this. Hotep Jesus said this a while back. It's like, you ever like dawn on you or bother you that the name of the reading device from Amazon is called a Kindle? Do you know what you do to start a fire?
Yeah,
like they're automating all the books into digital form, and then rather than burn them, wouldn't it be slick? Wouldn't it be even slicker if instead, because he was saying like they're going to burn the books. I was like, no, they won't burn them. They'll just rewrite them. They'll leave some shit out, skip over some stuff,
the
add a little
Library of
context
Alexandria
in there.
all over again.
Yeah, in that I've seen the same thing. The reason I have like my Freedom Library in the last, let's say 5 years, has just quadrupled. You know, because I decided to start buying up the shit that matters. You know,
actual. I want to start my own library.
Yeah, I me too. Let's do it.
Hey,
let's start the Aquarian Anarchy library. We can have.
I legit want physical, tangible books that. I mean, granted, we'll be in the future, so you can take your notes off the book and shit like that.
Right.
But like, I want a tangible library where people will be able to sit down in peace. And we're in the future, so everybody will have their little domes or something that they could train.
But read the shit that you're not allowed to read, or that you don't even know.
All of that.
Yeah, the books, because I know you've got a list. No, I've got a list. Marcus has a list of the shit that's like damn near impossible to find. Yeah, that shit is what I'm talking about.
Exactly, right. And that's what's necessary is the taboo topics that they burn and hide from people. When you release that, or smoke a little weed, you start to think differently. You start to think in a whole different realm. And this is what my cousin and I were talking about is shouts out to HJ and the homeschooling. That shit's gonna take off.
Yeah.
Immensely. But the prison of pipeline, the school prison pipeline is vicious. And it's only about books that are pertaining to basically stuff they indoctrinate you with. If we go through half your library and a fourth of my library right now and sat down and did a reading camp with everybody, not only would we get a whole bunch of disagreements, I'm okay with that. Disagree as much as possible, and we have rhetoric about it. 2, you have a lot of viewpoints that are eye-opening. Not just eye-opening, but revolutionary. Once you get a specific thought in somebody's head, once you get them to start to really put down their own pieces of their puzzle, it only starts to expand. And the fact that they destroyed the creativity and they're working on continuously destroying your creativity through these little devices, because your creativity, oh, that's cool, I'm just going to recreate what they did, instead of it being your own creativity, or remaking movies over and over and over and over and over again, or adding a sequel. Like, there isn't a whole bunch of creative ideas out there. It's the destruction of creativity and the assimilation of assimilation.
Yeah.
It's funny. I remember, and this might have been, I'm gonna struggle with the date, but I think I was in high school, so it's gonna be the early 90s. There was a strike in Hollywood, and it was the writers that were striking, and this could have been late 80s. I don't remember. I was a kid, and but at the time, the writers in Hollywood all threw a strike, and the response of Hollywood was, fuck you. We're not going to pay you anymore. We'll make our own shit up. So I don't think they ever let the creative writers back. And so
I remember Disney did that a while back. Disney, I met somebody at an animation conference here in Baton Rouge at this. They had built this new building or whatever, and he's like, this guy said he used to work for Disney, and he's like, I don't remember what year it was, but it was whatever year that was. He said, yeah, they just basically fired everybody with a pencil.
Yeah,
because if you don't do the 3D animation shit, they don't need you anymore.
Right. So the creative people are gone because they don't want us to be creative. And the again, and I know that sometimes I may sound like a broken record, but I'm hopeful. I am hopeful. And the reason I am hopeful is because we're not alone. No. I see it all the time. I assist with it all the time. You know, Adam was on a regular Colorado radio station this week that I helped set up. You know, Michael, who is, for people that don't know, generally does our tech stuff. Michael was like, I want to find people in our area to network with. And I said, and Michael lives in the same state I do. And I said, if you, he's an introvert. I'm an extrovert. And I was like, sign me the fuck up. Let me be your extrovert. Let me put me out front. I can't do computer shit. I don't know how to do it, but you can. Let me talk. Let me do shit for you. That's the kind of skills that we need to come together. And because we are coming together, because we are waking the fuck up, they're all over the place. There are people everywhere who are realizing them anarchists are right about some shit. Holy fuck. You know, it's why I put together years ago all of the fucking quotes that we use on Twitter and before that Facebook, is because these voices matter. These are creative people think. Somebody once got mad at me because I put this montage of people that influenced me that included people like Murray Rothbard, included people like Lysander Spooners, included people like George Washington, included people like Bob Marley, included people like Kwame Ture, that included people that might be considered on the left, like Emma Goldman. Like, these are people who are, and people are like, you don't understand. And all it said was stay free. That's all that the meme said, was stay free.
Right.
Because all those people had one message, and that was stay free. And when those people said that, because we're talking about lots of people that are hundreds of years ago, when they said that, they might be the only ones saying it. We have thousands and thousands of people who are in the streets all over the globe saying, stay free. Right now.
Word. And look, I have to say, you made me think of this when you said you could be the extrovert for Michael. This is all I could think of.
That's awful.
I know. Awful. It makes Michael like I don't know, in a different. He's a lot smarter than that guy. I'll say that much. But that guy, the other guy, was the extrovert,
right?
For him, and then
for
he was
sure.
the muscle. But anyway, it was just, I'm just thinking of like that, or like what's the guy? Is it Warstar and Beni from the Marvel comics? From
I don't remember.
Wolverine and the X-Men.
I remember the character. I don't remember names.
Yeah, what were those people called? I can't remember. Anyway, yeah.
I'm at a blank. I'm sorry.
Warstar was like this big green robot thing.
Yeah, I remember. I just don't remember
was like
names.
on his back, just like that picture. But anyway, that's what made me think of.
Nice.
So, for those people who are listening to this and didn't see that image, it was the I don't know, little dude standing on the big dude on Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome. That's,
and that the Beyond Thunderdome is what they want people to think is fucking anarchy.
What anarchy is, exactly.
Right.
And the funniest part about that is there's still a state
right
in both of those movies. Like there's still like this authoritarian. Yeah, the Morlocks. Yeah, that's a good one too. The Morlocks and the Eloi from shit, was it Time Machine by
but there was also Morlocks in Marvel too. They were
the more okay my bad. I'm thinking of like the underground above ground, but that's right, they were the Morlocks.
Excuse me, gentlemen, excuse me.
Oh yeah, go ahead Big Pimpin'.
as you have been watching for an hour and 24 minutes, I'm sorry, Granny. We most definitely talked about a studio that y'all can help with by starting off with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Can I get it again? $5 if you really fucks with your boys. Thank you for participating, but we want to thank you for your $5 because y'all love us so much. But
Right.
nonetheless, you get this information not only from our streams and our videos, but you join the group chat. And we got some bomb ass individuals in that group chat who drop gems. And we don't drop yaks though. We don't do that. But nonetheless,
Cash App.
we
I
most
got
definitely.
a Cash
Hey,
App.
hey, hey!
That's
If you want to cash up us individually, hit my line. But if you want to cash up the group, be more than my guest. Be more than my guest. Thank you for the support that y'all do. Hit the like, the subscribe, two
Right.
shares
Two shares to
to speed the spread. And yeah, no, fuck with your boy. You know.
Yeah. So the group, it was the Shi'ar. That's who was the group. I had to go and look it up. It was the Shi'ar, and War Star was like part of the Imperial Guard, and it was Beni and Cecile. So Cecile is the big one, and Beni is the little one. Yeah. Anyway, it's just, I don't know. It's been a while. I remembered.
To kind of go off of what we were just talking about with the anarchy thing, I think one of the things that has really happened recently in the anarchist movement that we have definitely been a major part of is we are effectively changing the image of what an anarchist is. You know, and it doesn't mean that there aren't anarchists out there that are still angry and screaming at
Right.
the TV. That happens. But I'm one of them sometimes. But I have a family. I have my number one thing I care about is my the people around me, my community, those kinds of things. I want to be, I don't know, free. I want peace. I want love. I want good things. And we in this last year have been very much involved in making that happen. In changing the paradigm. And you might say, well, but what have you guys really done? You know what we did? Chad specifically, Chad said to Hotep Jesus, you need to check out Murray Rothbard. And he did.
Yeah.
I said specifically.
We broke the world when we did that.
Right. I specifically said to Hotep Jesus, you need to look at Lysander Spooner.
Mm-hmm.
And the next thing you know, he's on Tim Pool telling the whole goddamn world he's an anarchist. And people went, oh. And it changed things. And that is just the beginning. 2022 is going to be a rise. It is going to be people all the time who are going fast to fight for freedom, who are going to stand up. They're going to call themselves all kinds of different shit, but it's going to happen. And I want to
give a fuck what you call yourself.
Right. I want to interject with the Cash App conversation. If you look down in the description, my P.O. box is included on that. We accept cash, motherfuckers.
Okay, right.
Hey, wait.
You can send us a check. We'll be all right with it. We DM one of us at see this little thing here written by my name.
Right. And my name and Nicco's
Right.
name.
Hey,
DM
wait.
us. If you really want to give us money, we'll take it.
No lie. I will be getting the P.O. box right next to my mailbox as of tomorrow. So, you know, just hit me up because your boy would love some bread. And it's not for Christmas. That's past. And it's necessarily for this show. I want to help out the boys. And also get more books so I can spew more knowledge and look a little bit crazier because that's the only good thing in this world. Once you
the thing is, I gotta tell you this: you gotta have it. You gotta switch your setup up to where you actually have like a bookshelf with like where we can see the bindings, you can see titles and everything. You got to flex.
Oh
You
no,
have to,
I don't
flex
look.
what you
Look,
like.
I
For all
don't
we know,
know
that could be a
what
bunch
is
of
legal.
sketchbooks, and you ain't
Right.
written
I don't
shit
know
in them.
what is legal and what is illegal
Oh, I
in
got
this
you.
world. So y'all not gonna get these titles. I'm not nice enough. If you want
That's
these
gonna be in
titles,
Nicco's banned
yeah.
library.
Hey, look, exactly. That is exactly why. And you're gonna have to pay $250 to get in my band library because and sign the NDA because I am not having y'all snitch on my black ass. Okay.
Nicco's library is gonna be called "Ban This, Bitch."
Right, for sure. So I want to back up about money, and the reason is because people are like, "Why do you say something about money?" I'm telling you right now, this guy over here, Chad, is one of the hardest motherfucking workers I have ever seen in this movement. He is a hard fucking worker, and that dude goes to work every fucking day. He works his goddamn ass off, and he does everything he can. Can you imagine? Can you imagine just what Chad could do if he didn't have a 9-to-5 job?
Hey, I work
If
in
he
the
didn't-
fields real well.
Right. Well, all of us do. All of us work our fucking asses off. My point is that we're doing all this shit and maintaining a regular job. So one of the reasons that we talk about money and ask, please support us, is because if we could do this full time, I would go back to writing every single day.
Yeah.
But I can't.
And then I'd
because
start
I have
my
to
stripper
work.
job.
Nobody want to see that. Oh, God. Who are these
Thin and
people?
Black on
Oh,
Aquarian
God.
Anarchy.
Hey, wait. Before, look.
I blocked
if we
him
got
already. I'm
anybody who's tech savvy, find out where that server is and then send me the address because I'll Jay and Silent Bob they ass real quick.
So I want to go. So first of all, much appreciation, Long Tongue Son. I got it. Just sent me a Cash App. That was beautiful. Y'all get y'all's Cash Apps in the description so y'all can get money too. Nicco, send it over so Marcus can put it in the notes from now on. But no, that was huge. I appreciate it. But I wanted to say this. It was like
Telegram.
before we get on a different topic or something. On this idea of like this rise of freedom and like how the ranks are building. Okay. I'm witnessing already, I'm sure you guys are too, that you probably know some people who got suckered and got coerced and got tricked and pressured and fear mongered into getting some stuff injected into them, right? Okay. So there are a lot of those people who are like, nah, fuck this shit. I'm done with this.
Yeah.
Like, why you said this wasn't, you said it was over when we did this. I did it. And now you're telling me I got to get another one and then another one and then another one. And then I still got to not go to the restaurant and I still got to not go to the theater and I can't do this. I can't do that. I might still lose my job and I might like go from being okay on the okay list to the not okay list and lose my job over that, by not getting boosted or whatever. Like, no, done. Drawn a line now. And the more, because the other thing is too, people are seeing like, man, don't make it shit anyway. Like there's still stuff is still happening to people regardless of whether they got this shit or not. So like, I'm trying to be real careful because I almost got us banned earlier, but yeah, it's, I what I see is, remember when I talked way back when about the Bug's Life metaphor and like, the ants pushing back against the grasshoppers and how, but what they did is they convinced half the ants to try to murder the other or wish death on the other half of the ants and exclude them from society, not feed them, not give them anything. You know what I mean? Like to where the other ants were like, I guess it's us against all of them. God damn, man. All right, here we go. A lot of those ants are breaking ranks. And they're saying like, no, Chad, Marcus, and Nicco and them, those ants, they had it right from the beginning. We should have been on their side. And it's never too late. And that's why I always go to this this well because I don't think it can be exhausted.
No.
Make sure that you continue to invite people to this and not talk down to people
For sure.
or to make sure that people understand that like we want to work together with them to build something better and build a way out of being slaves to these mega corporations and all this other stuff. And that's why, so the thing that I did the other day, I did my little morning meditation and I put it out there. Well, before I did that, I made a mistake. I got up and I started just, scrolling through my phone in bed, got onto Twitter, and somebody had responded to like whatever that argument was that we were having with Scott and Aunt BB months ago, like in June or July. All right. So somebody responded to that and I let it get to me. All right. Because it was wrong. But it was, what I did was I allowed it to turn that person into my enemy instead of just saying, you know what, that's not like, I understand what you're saying. And yeah, maybe it's worse than it was before that happened. But like, this is, I'm trying to tell you, this country was founded by business and money interests.
Right. Factual. It
was not this like mom and pop said, hey, let's preserve freedom for everybody by making this big thing. No, why do you think they had all the different taxation structures that had nothing to do with like excuse me, actually providing infrastructure or any of this other stuff? Like there was some of this stuff where, and then the slavery shit too, like goddamn, like come on people. Anyway, so I let that stuff get to me and I responded or whatever, and so then Scott responded and then I just felt bad because then I was like, damn man, like all right, I really think Scott's a good dude. I think that he probably spends more time in the adversarial, let me try to find and I don't want to put bad things on him, but like I sense that there's less of a spirit of finding people who agree with you on a few things and putting the other stuff aside temporarily. And it's more about like, because he said stuff about Adam, he said stuff about Magnus, that like they're like getting paid by the WEF or something, and they're
where's my check?
Right, exactly. And so I'm like, man, like everybody's not an agent, everybody's not an op. Just because they don't see the world the same way that you do. Let's try to understand each other better. So let's try to actually work together. So what I did, I kind of collected myself and I said, okay, look, this is not what I'm supposed to be doing, what I've not been about for the last month. Because back to the thing about like New Year's resolutions being stupid. I didn't wait. Excuse me. Damn. It just like sneaks up on me. Like I'm in mid sentence and it's like, hi, you can't talk, bitch. But anyway, I decided like a month ago that like I was going to do something different and I was going to start like reordering my life in a certain way. Okay. So realizing that I had fallen off that path, I said, okay, let me recollect myself. Let me respond back to Scott and just be like, hey, Scott, I hope you're well. And I understand that I think we agree a lot more than we disagree. And hopefully one day we can work together to build solutions to this stuff. And I just left it at that. And then he wished me a happy new year. I came back and wished him the same thing and, Merry Christmas and all that stuff. And so it completely changed the whole tone of that potential interaction that could have gone on for like a day or two of like us arguing and calling each other names and all this other bullshit. Saying all that to say that the more we carry that spirit into our interactions, the more we make people like even someone who thinks that we might be part of the problem, start to see like, okay, I don't think you're part of the problem, but I think you may be off on this, this, and this. And it's like, okay, cool. Because I don't think you're part of the problem, but I think you might be off on the opposite of this, this, and this, or something else. And then let's talk about those things and kind of see, because a lot of this is like what we talked with Justin, the communist, about. A lot of this stuff is understanding what we mean when we say certain words.
Right.
And defining terms, and then defining like what our intentions are, what our motivations are, and what our end goals are. Right.
People is illiterate. So, you got to break shit down to them.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I think it's not a mistake, because I think that if I'm the powers that be, I'm going to try to make it like the Tower of Babel. I'm going to make this shit as confusing as possible.
Speak to each other.
Make it to where people can't talk to each other, because there's going to be words that mean different things to different people. Capitalism means different things to everybody.
Factual.
Communism means different things to everybody. And so like you get into this stuff and it's like, okay, well, do you mean like state communism run by like fascists who like, bring all of this power into the hands of the people who are still bought and paid for by the big corporations that you're supposed to be overtaking. But then like but I don't know, it's weird. It's like this, there's a lot of that stuff that we have to actually like work through. Okay, here's what we all want. Okay, cool. I think we want the same things. Here's how I think we can get there. Okay, you want to do it that way. We want to do it this way. As long as you're not going to shoot me if I don't do it your way, we're cool.
Right.
You know,
or turn me into the pigs who are going to do
right, or turn me into the people who are going to shoot me and throw me in jail. So like that's where I kind of have come in the as this year comes to a close and we start this fresh new year is with a renewed perspective of we have a lot of allies and potential allies, and we need to make sure that we don't fuck that up.
For sure.
I think it's not potential. It's just we're all ignorant. So we have ignorant allies, and they just don't know specifically where we could head with our direction. Right. Now, the potential allies, they're already there because they see a vision. It's just the ones that need to be a little bit reacclimated to different forms of information. And we can provide that because, we're not real heavy with the technical, but each one of us are able to provide a different way of talking to another individual. And that's where we can, what's the word I should say? We can capitalize because each one of us have our own similar, if not damn near the same belief in freedom, but we have different ways of going about and how to speak it. And it's a delight to be able to be on you guys' side,
Right.
It's a struggle for people to see why it's delightful because the good things are demonized. So it's all about changing the rhetoric. Okay, well, let's break this down. Lucifer is different from the devil. Lucifer is different from the devil. Montoro is just another word. Like, there's so many different names and terms for the devil, but you have to do your research in them.
Mm-hmm.
Because each one of them are symbolized in a different form and facet. Mm-hmm. Now,
absolutely,
there are negative connotations to it because there are negative things that are accompanied with them, but there's always something that's always not really bolstered behind any positive thing that's bolstered behind it at all. So it's our duty to be able to do what Chad did. Instead of lighting the fuel on fire, we were like, instead of doing like adding more fuel, let me see how you're doing. Let me see how your perspective is going to roll off your tongue. And let me see how you would do things so I can adapt and we can be able to have this conversation. Now, when you're ready to adapt and not be the only one heard, then you're able to have a much
10 double to me. I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. Marcus doesn't. I just said 10 double to me.
You're able to influence a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
And your influence doesn't have to immediately spark in the individual where they're like, okay, well, it's the seed that you plant.
Yes.
Everybody plants seeds.
Mm-hmm.
Those little gems of knowledge. I don't give a fuck if it takes you 50 years to figure it out. I don't.
Right.
But the fact is that I was able to help implore you to do better. It's not a race because, I mean, at this point it's kind of a race. But what I realized is that my granny has so many amazing feats, and so like they have fucking displays in the museum about how they helped out the Haitian community and shit like that. And I felt insignificant until like I realized I'm like, holy shit, wait, let me take a step back. I'm on the internet and I am able hey, find me that IP address. We're on the internet And even though we're not massive, but we're still influential.
Yeah.
And we can be influential on a day-to-day. Go ahead, Marcus.
I was going to say, and we don't know where that influence is. One of the things that is happening as we speak right now is there are Christians all over this country who are waking up to liberty ideas. We had Aaron on here, Aaron Clark, who is a Seventh-day Adventist minister, and he and I have lots of conversations. For Christmas, I gave him Bastiat the Law. And
watch out now.
Right. And immediately we're sitting at Christmas, he is reading through, and you could see the light bulbs coming on. He is a minister in a Seventh-day Adventist church who is currently just at least read some, because I watched it, of Bastiat. Right now, my wife's cousin, his name is Ron Kelly, has been involved with a group who has a stadium scheduled next weekend with Peter, that we can't say his name.
The doctor.
The doctor was on Joe Rogan. That guy, he will be there on stage with him. We are buying him a copy of Bastiat, the Law. And the reason that this is going to happen is because I had a conversation with Ron, who is fighting his own church about their policy as it relates to forced mandates. He is absolutely moving in our direction. Is he ever going to call himself an anarchist? Probably not. Who cares?
I didn't call myself an anarchist when I first embraced Rothbard and Bastiat the Law, and I was just I was a libertarian, and I thought anarchists were kind of crazy, and then I just kept going. I was like, yeah, why do we need any of this stuff? We can just do all of this stuff on our own voluntarily. And that's the thing. A lot of this stuff gets caught up in this oh well, it's business and it's private ownership of this, and you're going to give the roads to businesses. No, that's not what we're talking about. What we were talking about is making it more kind of democratized, so to speak. Right. And I even hate that term because it's what does that mean? We all vote on who gets it or something. Some of this stuff can be twisted so easily.
It's like the black people who realize that they have more conservative values, and they've been hating on it all their life. And I'm
so you can't say you're conservative because that would be like a cookie doke on yourself,
right?
Yeah, but just to that point,
be like a white person looking in the mirror and be like, I guess I'm a white supremacist now. Shit, I'm not supposed to be. That's supposed to be bad, but damn, I find myself saying it's okay to be white and being scared.
Right. Yeah. But to kind of finish up where I was with that, if you're in Arizona and you're watching this show next weekend, if you need details, go to my Twitter. It is pinned to the top and will stay pinned to the top of my Twitter until it's over. Go there just so everyone knows. I don't know that Adam's going to go there. I don't know, but I've done what I can do to put Adam Kokesh there because Ron's when we had our conversation, Ron's exact words to me when we were talking was, give him or it was put him in touch with me. I'll see what I can do. So
that's really something he should do. I mean,
I know.
I think it's real easy to.
He has Ron's phone number.
Yeah, it's real easy to stay in the lane that was really, I don't know. It was a good run, but YouTube has changed. Their rules have changed. All that stuff has changed. How Adam built his audience and his all that stuff has been completely changed. He's been largely demonetized and has had to go all these other different routes and everything. What he has an opportunity to do, though, is to present himself to a group of budding libertarian / anarchists who are seeing that this last 2 years is a bunch of bullshit, and that's a whole new market you could tap into. I found Adam through I don't even remember. But the craziest part about it is I know what it was. It was one of the guys who I followed through the Ron Paul stuff actually posted a video of Adam at Occupy Wall Street. And it was a military guy, and he was explaining to him, he kind of broke the whole thing down to him about like, and I think Adam was going the ANCAP route with it or whatever, but he was basically saying that like, no, this is government like interference in the market. This isn't free market, capitalism or whatever you want to call it. I hate the term capitalism anyway, but that's how I found Adam. And then later on, like I found Tom Woods through Adam. So that's kind of crazy. Like as a Catholic, to find Tom Woods after Adam through Adam is very bizarre, because like you would think it would go the opposite direction. But I will say this about that, to kind of put a bow on this, that little series that I've been doing now, that was sparked by Cyprian, who came on, and I don't know if you guys have gotten to see his interview with Hotep Jesus from last week.
Interview.
But it's amazing. It gets so much into so much of this stuff. It's very heavy on the tech around Bitcoin and wallets and keys and that, like how a lot of the different projects have developed and everything. But he has been, and their podcast, the Royal Path, has been an inspiration to me, similar to what you talked about, Marcus, where I found like, and I have to give you your credit too for telling me when I was in that weird crossroads of like, I didn't see the point in, going to church anymore. I was very disillusioned and turned off by the whole process of watching the prayers of the faithful, and they're praying for, a speedy vaccine, and they're praying for this. And then the priest is telling you to go get it and telling you like, you need to go talk to your doctor, not somebody on the internet, but your doctor who's going to have to, take care of you if you get the thing or whatever. Like, okay, well, I probably have the thing and I haven't been to a doctor in like 3 years. So kiss my ass. But anyway, I just don't like, that's not, anyway, whatever. It's another story for another day. There's other ways to take care of yourself without going into some place that's like built to siphon money off of you forever.
Man.
But that has been an inspiration to like reclaim and re-explore and rediscover my own faith and like build on it in a way that like I didn't even think was possible anymore. And now I feel like I'm deepening my relationship with God, and I'm doing it in a way that makes me more optimistic and more it's making me a better person. It just is. It's hard to do something that consistently and not, have it rub off on you, where it becomes less than just words and it becomes like, damn, man, they've said that 3 days in a row and I'm still an asshole. I need to stop. Today's the day I'm going to stop, that kind of stuff. So anyway, it's been dope.
For
and
sure.
I thank Vin for that. Because that was,
well, I think Vin was one of our most influential on us, on all three of us, of the shows that we've done in the past year. I think that he at least impacted me. He obviously impacted you, Chad. I don't know, Nicco.
To a great extent. He's dropped gems.
For sure. And, that's one of the things I think that is beautiful about who we are, who Aquarian Anarchy is. And that is that we embrace God. I don't care what path you used to get to him. I don't care about all that.
Right.
But we embrace God, and we realize that God is part of this path. God, it is
the path.
Right.
The path. I mean,
right.
That's, if we're being real, God is the path that we're on right now.
And if you're Christian, you were given some particular instructions. And bowing down to fucking political masters, one part of it. So how about you do what Jesus said? How about you throw over some goddamn tables when banks are trying to rule you? How about you follow the lead of the Lion of Light and you stand for something? One of the things that
Jesus heard this shit that was going on the pulpits of some of these churches, he'd have gone and flipped the altar over.
Right. And
how dare you do this in my father's house?
Right. That is exactly the spirit that Ron Kelly, my wife's cousin, does in his ministry. And I am proud. I'm not a Seventh-day Adventist, but I am proud that he is part of my family.
Yeah, word.
The fucking testicles on that dude to stand up to his church and say, God said I was supposed to do something different. My God, that's what we should be doing. That's how we should be doing it. This life is temporary. Stand up and stand for something. And it is time. 2022 will be the day we take this fucking country back. Take it back. Make it about what those founders talked about. It may not be what they put in a constitution that means nothing. Those ideas that were founded in those Bill of Rights matter. They matter. And I am not going to let my children live in slavery. It is not going to happen on my watch. I will live and die to protect my children, my community, my friends, and my family. And that's the end of it. And God has my back.
So I have a new addition to the thing for it. So if this comes up again, we can now do this.
Wait, what? Right. You got to wait for your sound bar for it to pause. Like
I got to have a sound effect to it.
Yeah, no, that'd be.
But I don't have a soundboard yet. But no, that's beautiful, Marcus, and that's so true. Like that's and that's again back to what we've been talking about in the Telegram chat and everything. By the way, if you're not already, join the Patreon for $5 a month. You get to be in our wicked Telegram chat. It is epic. Shout out to all the folks in there. Hotep, Daryl, Michael, Tim, of course, me, Nicco, Marcus. Hotep Dutch is in there all the time doing his thing, giving us. It's cool to have someone who's like on the other side of the world,
right?
Because it's very easy for us to just stay in America, talking points and everything. But he's telling us what's going on over there in the Netherlands. He's like, so he's not just Hotep Dutch by name. He's literally over there in the
Deutschlands.
Yeah, so he's I don't know. Hopefully he's not having to like plug a dike or anything like that.
Wait, what?
The Dutch boy like, stuck his
Don't be
finger
plugging the dike, man.
Stuck his finger in the dike and
against their will.
Yeah, that's all right. Where is it? Oh shoot! But no, it's an epic chat. We got Halima, Salji, Brody, like people who don't necessarily come in there all that much, but they're on the list of for the Patreon.
For sure,
we appreciate all y'all.
They may be lurking. You never know.
That's right. The thing
is,
I'm sorry,
man,
Dutch.
though,
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to imply that you were anyway.
Out here plugging dikes.
It's the story of the Dutch boy. Like, come on, this is the legend.
Oh no. But seriously, that Telegram is gems, man. Whether we're talking about fucking, I mean, the conversations that Daryl and Michael had last week about computer security.
I was like, well, I know who I'm calling if I need this shit done. Like, gee whiz, man.
I mean, and shit, but even stupid shit. Like we were talking about the RVs and Amber and I know some people that make schoolies. And if we ever do an RV thing, that's something we want to do. And so just those little conversations about, or maybe it's about guns, or maybe who knows. But all of those different conversations definitely add to the experience that we have to offer. And the number one thing I think that I draw from our Telegram is I'm not alone.
No, for real. It's and that's a beautiful thing. It's something not to be taken for granted by any stretch. We are not alone. They want us to feel like we are. That's a big part of why I never forget. They had this bullshit on the TV. #alone together. I was like, y'all out your damn minds. Y'all like trying to ruin people's lives, telling people alone together. Let's all be alone together. What the fuck does that even mean?
Didn't they put in like
how you be alone together? Huh?
Didn't they put in like an old Germany propaganda? When you're riding alone, you're riding with Hitler.
Oh yeah. That was,
It's the same fucking sense.
yeah. If you weren't carpooling, you were helping Hitler. And so if you're riding alone, there's like a cardboard cutout of Hitler might as well be next to you or some shit. I don't know.
Oh shit.
People are wackos, but they as Peter Kraft, who was one, going back to our freedom fathers or ancestors or whatever, Peter Kraft says that these people are not our enemies. They are still they're our patients. So now they may be going around poisoning the other patients and beating up the nurses and beating up the doctors and all that stuff, but we're in like a mental hospital.
Right.
This is not, they're not our enemies. They just need the proper care to help get them to see the light. I don't want to mischaracterize people, but then in a certain way, what he's talking about is like more on a spiritual warfare level. They're like people who are actually doing evil stuff and like being a part of stuff but they're actually victims. Like you see some of these celebrities and stuff like that they've gotten caught up in all this stuff because they're so inundated with that, and it's constantly. I saw one of the people posted in the Hotep Nation Discord. Shout out to Victor. He said he posted this long. It's long. It's old. It's like 20-something years old. Lauryn Hill, when she gave that little talk with that school or whatever. She was like 25 years old or something back then. It was like right after Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. But she was talking about how, so much of what we are up against is like there are people who they want to, once you get to the top, they want you to stay there as an artist. And what she said is they don't realize that like, it's the life experiences that you have when you're not in the studio and you're not on tour and all that stuff. Otherwise, all your music just becomes about being in the studio and being on tour. Like you got to go back to like living life and getting back in the mud that inspired your first album.
Yeah.
Otherwise, all your shit's going to be about being on tour and being in the studio and making music and talking shit about other people and all this other kind of stuff.
Or you have other people write for you.
Right. Or you have other people who are in the mud write for you and ghost write and stuff like that. Yeah.
And then I collect the award, because I'm
you're
the
right.
fate.
She was ahead of her time for sure. What'd you say, Nicco? Sorry, what?
And then I collect the reward after you guys wrote about your trials and tribulations, but I'm still the GOAT. Remember that.
Right.
Yep.
I'm all right with it, man. If all we do is make you great, Nicco, I have succeeded.
I think he was talking about the rap music thing. But
I know. But
it'll work that way too here. I'll ghost write for you, Nicco.
I'm good. If all Aquarian Anarchy does is send Nicco to be a leader in the freedom movement, I'm with it.
Wait, y'all still got time. Don't and look, at the end of the day, once one makes it, we all make it. Like that's how it is. That's genuinely how it is in my mindset. There's no reason to allow me be the only crab out the barrel and be like, damn, you niggas is stuck. We all got pinchers. Let's use our brains and let's grab one and climb the fuck out of this bitch.
Sure.
And that's the only way is once you save yourself, because that's initially what you have to do, then you save another individual.
Right.
That you have to be in the proper mindset and the proper alignment to be able to fish out and help other people. But you have to be in alignment yourself, because once you disregard your well-being and you're on a decline, how the fuck are you gonna help anybody else?
For sure. You're right.
Yep,
for sure.
So we all gonna eat in this bitch, Marcus. What kind of?
let's go.
How you like your turkey?
I get it.
You like it roasted or fried? You like a fried turkey?
I'm with you. I'm with you, brother.
I'm about
because
to do
Chad's cooking.
And shout out to Rob Kaiser and his group, the All Around Growth people. I'm in that Telegram group too. And one of the guys, Wayne, in there, did a smoked and then fried turkey. And I was like, that's on the list next. I'm smoking it and then I'm frying it. That sounded amazing, just delicious. But yeah, so I want to remind everybody before we go, tonight. I think it's at 7:30. Yeah, 7:30.
That's
so,
Central.
8:30 Eastern time. Sorry, 7:30 Central time. So in about 25 minutes, Uncle Hotep is going to have Scott Creighton on, Church Dog 42, aka Willie Loman on Twitter. Scott Creighton on Twitter as well. But I'm looking forward to that. They've been supposed to do that for about a year, I think, since around the time that we did it. Had Scott on, so that should be fun. That should be interesting, and I still got a lot of love for Scott. Like, I appreciate what he does. He does a lot of research. He's great at reporting, like, what's going on and everything. I just think that the propaganda machines have done a number on all of us, and they have still made it to where we have a difficult time communicating with each other. And I'll leave it at that, because I think that's all that's really at fault here, is that we have a failure to communicate properly what our intentions, motivations, and end goals are, because I think we're on the same page for sure. And we just we get twisted a little bit.
At the end of the day, he'll be
At the
end of the day, he'll be in the trenches with us.
Mm-hmm.
I want to do a quick shout out. Thank you very much. Much love, Long Tongue Son.
Yeah. You got yours too?
All right. Yeah, I did.
Right.
But
suck it, Marcus.
Yes, I gotta get it.
No, long story short, with supporters such as yourself and all the people who are here on a daily, and I'll damn near do this every episode. Thank you guys very much.
Yeah, for real. Thank you so much.
Thank y'all for spending the time with us and listening to not only our shenanigans, but to the gems that we drop, to the philosophy that we give to you guys, because y'all got a motherfucking keyboard. So if y'all disagree, most definitely bring them up. We have not only the intention on enlightening ourselves, but to enlighten everybody else. So even if we say something incorrect, like a Dutch plug, but
that's going to light you up, dude.
Make him sound like Jack Murphy or something.
Right. That's be hitting you up later, man.
Dutch go ahead. Hey, yo, Chad, bro. What is this, man? No, but at the end of the day, we thank y'all. Thank y'all for the love, the support, and you guys' presence. You know, without y'all, we could still be doing this, but like the fun really comes for giving you guys the information. Right. I love talking to these two gentlemen right here, but being able to see that you guys align with us and give your inputs as well just only fills me up with joy. So I appreciate it. I love y'all. Feedback. Yep. You know, y'all are the world. Y'all are the world, and y'all the OGs. So once we make it out this mud, we gonna shout out the OGs and make y'all moderators. Fuck the bullshit. And then find me the IP address so I can beat this nigga's ass. No,
all right, so I want to say one thing about that. So we appreciate the feedback, because that you know, voting with your dollars and sending that stuff to us is definitely appreciated as positive feedback for what we're doing. But we also want to be mindful and open to, if there's anybody who you want us to interview, if there's a topic you want us to discuss, if you want us to hit on something, let us know. DM me, DM Marcus, DM Nicco. Probably easiest way to remember is just to go to Marcus, because it's, you know, he's the brand. He's the at of the whole brand. Yeah, yeah, exactly. So, but no, like seriously, that's something that I think would be good for this year coming up is. As we have, I'm not going to say we've exhausted all of our potential interview guests, because there's still plenty of people who I'd like to get on the show, and some people who I'd like to bring back again, and some topics that I think we've done a lot on, but then there's some other stuff that we haven't touched on as much that I think we need to get into. But I'd really be interested to hear what other folks, because you might give us an idea where we're like, oh damn, that's a great idea. Let's make that the subject of whatever episode is next.
Hey, communities build the world, baby.
That's right. Shamika Michelle next week, same time, next Sunday. It's going to be amazing. Episode 100. That's going to be our 100th episode. I want to get Derek July for sure. I gotta hit him up, but yeah, that's one that I've been wanting to get on for a while. But yeah, so hit us up if you have any ideas like that. And I don't know Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers. I'm gonna have to go dig into that.
At Aquarian or at Anarchy Aquarian. I'm Aquarian Anarchy on Twitter. It's the easiest place to find us. And all of the links for us are down in the down below in the description. So definitely hit us up. We will do what we can to get anybody on here that you want to hear.
Facts. So y'all go check out Uncle Hotep Factor in about 20 minutes with Scott Creighton. And until next time with Shamika Michelle next week, we will see you guys. Appreciate y'all.
Stay free, my friends.